Listen, I'll be the first one to tell you this, that having six-pack abs is great, right? But if let's just say you're not mentally strong, then you are weak. And having six-pack abs means absolutely nothing. Now, luckily for you, I'm actually going to give you a little cheat code in terms of how to get abs. And we're not going to talk about crunches. We're not going to talk about nutrition. We're not going to talk about cardio, anything like that. But what I am going to share with you, these 3 tips, is definitely going to help you get six-pack abs. Because what we're going to be talking about in today's episode is all about becoming mentally stronger. And honestly, this is what this society needs nowadays, especially now more than ever. We need men out there. We need people to stand up. We need people to, go outside their comfort zones and take that hero's journey, right? And inspire others and encourage others to lead by example. There's so many people nowadays that are just so weak and just playing behind the shadows, playing behind the curtains, and it's just like we need more guys to step up. But maybe the reason why we're afraid to step up is because maybe we lack confidence. Maybe we're not mentally strong, right? Maybe we have a limiting mindset or a self-limiting belief about ourselves that stops us rather than actually stepping outside of our comfort zone, rather than actually pursuing greatness in life. And listen, the last thing I want for you is to go through your own life, your own hero's journey, and play it safe. That's the last thing I want for you, because what's going to happen is by the end of your life, when you're sitting on your deathbed, you know how many just like regrets you're going to have on these missed opportunities and different experiences that you never got to celebrate or take part of. You all missed out on it because you played it safe. You decided to just go ahead and, hey, get married, have a family, and work a 9 to 5, and that's it, right? Never do anything with your life besides that, because on the weekends, you're too probably tired to do anything. Maybe it's just the normal routine that you have going on with your family and maybe church and watching the sports games, and that's it. Like, sure, there's some trips here and there. Maybe once a year, you'll take a family vacation or, do something great. But other than that, it's a boring life, right? And if you're somebody that's like, okay, hey, that's not my life at all, then maybe this is not going to apply for you, or maybe it will apply for you. And you're like, okay, hey, Joe, I was in this position and I have a better life now, but I want to take it to that next level, right? I really want to seek greatness. I really want to start this new venture because maybe, I am getting a little bit stuck. Maybe I am being a little bit compliant with my life and I stopped playing the game. And that's what life is all about, guys, is a game. Right? And new levels equal new devils. But unfortunately, with most guys out there, after they get married, after they get a job and a career, they stop playing the game. They're like trapped on like level 9. And there's like hundreds of levels. But they're just stuck. And they don't know how to progress. They don't know how to level up in life. Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you 3 tips on how to do exactly just that. And it has everything to do with your mindset. So if let's just say you're brand new. Well, hey, welcome to my YouTube channel. Unless you're listening to this to, on Spotify or Apple iTunes, then welcome to the Muscle and Mind Fit podcast with Joe Callari. This is where I like to just encourage guys. I use this platform as a way to just talk to others, to share, my expertise when it comes to fat loss, muscle building, just all that. But most importantly, it's encouragement. It's words of inspiration. And that's what today's episode is all about. So, last week, I was literally just going for a run. I'm getting ready for High Rocks. So High Rocks is a beast of a competition, and I'm getting ready for High Rocks in Chicago in November. And so I'm out here just going for my run, and I go to my buddy's shop, okay? Go in there to say hi, and probably after 5 minutes of talking with him, somebody else walks in. And sure enough, he's wearing a U.S. Navy hat, not thinking anything of it, just, give him a handshake and just say, hey, thank you for your service. Well, my buddy actually knows this guy. And after talking after about 35 minutes, I leave my buddy's shop thinking that's never going to happen again. What are the odds of me running into somebody like that? And what a great opportunity for me to just sit there, absorb in all this information like a sponge, soak it all in. And now I can share this information with you guys. So the person that I ran into is a former U.S. Navy SEAL. And our conversation was amazing. In case you guys don't know, too much about me, let me share with you a little bit about the past, okay? All my life, I wanted to be in the Marines, okay? The MOS was 0311, which is infantry, okay? Since 9/11 happened, and I was in 3rd grade at the time, Like, that's all I wanted to do was just serve our country. Like, I had no dreams or expectations of college and becoming a health and fitness coach. None of that at all. I just want to literally just go to war, right? Watch Rambo and be like, all right, I want to be that guy, right? I want to save the day, right? And I just did not care at all, like, if I died. Like, that, just being honest with you guys. I just wanted to go out to war. I just wanted to do my thing. Well, fast forward, right, all throughout high school, I, right, always struggled with school. Test anxiety, reading comprehension, everything like that. I failed out of one of my math classes. I had to go to Sylvan Learning Center, like, do all this stuff. I've always struggled, right, to say the least. Well, fast forward now till after, college, or excuse me, after high school, right, after I just got done graduating, and I go to MEPS, right? I go to MEPS to take my ASVAB test, to do my physical fitness, all that stuff, to pass, swear in, right, and join the Marines. Well, unfortunately, I failed on the ASVAB by like 3 points. And it was all because of the test anxiety. It was all because of the reading comprehension. And, with me, like, if there's other people flipping the pages and, writing stuff down, I feel like I'm mentally in a race, right? And it's funny because we're going to be talking here about mindset. And, like, if I knew these tips that I'm going to share with you back then, oh my gosh, like, it would have been so much different than how it is now. But nonetheless, I filled out my ASVAB test. And I'm like, all right, well, hey, I'm just going to wait again, right? I wait 4 months, 5 months, and sure enough, I take it again. And I failed again by 5 points. I'm like, all right, well, hey, let's hit the books. Let's study even harder. And I knew, like, every time I would take the practice ASVAB at my recruiting station at the time, the recruiter, right, was literally like, bro, like, I don't get this. You are passing this test with flying colors here. How is it that you go down there to take the test and you fail? Like, I have no idea. I'm not trying to fail. I'm literally saying, like, send me out to war. Like, I'm your guy. I'm just freaking out when I'm under pressure like this. So sure enough, I wait another 5 months and I fail again, right? Failed 3 times in a row. And I'm like, all right, I got to do something, right? And this is when I started to enroll into a local community college. I got my certifications in personal training, nutrition, and strength and conditioning. And started working in corporate America and, got married and, hey, life's great. And then eventually started my business in 2017 and here we are today. Okay. Now, the reason why I want to share all that is because I love the military. Like, if you are watching this now or listening to this and you have served in our U.S. military, thank you so much for your service. And I truly, truly, truly do mean that. I love the military. And there's a part of me that still wants to be in the military, still wants me to serve. So when I get an opportunity to meet somebody, right, whether they're a U.S. Navy SEAL or not, right, any, it could be Army, National Guard, anything like that, I want to shake their hand, right, and say thank you for their service. So I got the opportunity to do that with this guy. This guy, though, was a former U.S. Navy SEAL, which is the hardest, right? I would say the hardest, the top of the top, right, when it comes to the military for special forces. And you have to go through what's called BUDS training. And BUDS training, like, you go through Hell Week, like, you're pretty much, like, in survival mode, right? Running on very little sleep. You're constantly doing these swimming different, obstacles. They're throwing you in the water. They're bashing you, right? Like, they're trying their best to break you. Like, that's literally what the guy told me. He was like, BUDS is a job to kind of weed out the people. And he always said, like, it was never the big guys or the strong guys. They would be the guys that actually would fall, right? Would fail, like would ring the bell, would tap out, would quit. It was always like the little guys. There was just something about them with their mindset. And so Steve was telling me more about this and the training, but I had to ask, I said, Steve, based on everything, with all of your experience in the military, especially in the Navy SEALs, what is the 3 top tips to help somebody have a stronger mindset? If let's say they're just weak in that area and they lack on it. Once again, you mentioned, Steve, that, hey, you can be physically fit, right? But be the first one to ring the bell and tap out. What's the mindset? What's the hacks? And here are 3 tips that I learned, right? The first one is this: to stay calm under pressure. And I wish I knew this during, obviously, ASVAB test, taking my test and everything like that, and other experiences in my life. And it's to stay calm under pressure. Like, that is when, especially when you're underneath a lot of adversity and pressure, and you got the anxiety, the worry, the doubt, the fear, all that stuff. Your mind is racing. You can't stay focused. You just can't, right? So like whatever it is to help you stay focused. For me personally, I focus on breath work. After, going through all the stuff that I had to go through in life, right? Like I learned what works best for me, and always underneath pressure, right? Whether I'm speaking, whether I'm getting ready to, do a competition or anything like that, whether it's a fitness event or a jiu-jitsu tournament. Back in the day when I used to do MMA, right, and boxing matches and kickboxing, I would always use breath work, right? And breath work is just close your eyes, breath comes in, hold it, breathe out through your mouth, right? Hold it for a split second. Do the box method, which is 4 seconds in, 4 seconds hold, 4 seconds release, 4 seconds hold, and repeat for like 2 to 3 minutes. That always helps. Always helps. So for you, maybe you're struggling right now because, I don't know, you're overweight. You have type 2 diabetes. You have no energy to play with your kids. Maybe you feel stuck in a rut. You have low sex drive, low energy. You don't like the way that you look. You don't like the way you feel. You just feel stuck, right? And you want to make a change, right? Well, keep this in mind, that in order to make a change, you got to step outside of your comfort zone. Anytime you step outside of your comfort zone, you're going to be faced with adversity. You're going to be faced with challenges. When those challenges arise and come, are you going to be the one that's going to fold, throw in the towel and quit? Or are you going to stay calm under pressure, stay focused, be resilient, and work through those challenges? Let that sink in. Because maybe that's like the one thing that you need to hear from today's podcast. That it's like, hey, every time you're trying to do this thing and get in better shape and eat healthier and track your food and, set up a workout routine, right? Maybe you get nervous. Maybe you get scared. Maybe like something happens where, life throws you a challenge and you stop seeing results and whatever the case may be. And instead of just freaking out and, the binge eating and the emotional eating, maybe it's, hey, you stay calm, right? And you realize like, okay, hey, I got the power within to overcome this. Now, the second tip, right, is move forward in the fight. And I love this tip that I received, right? Move forward in the fight. When most people are faced with a challenge, they want to turn the other way. They want to look for the easiest shortcut around it, i.e., right, guys trying to lose weight. They'll go take an Ozempic shot, right, which has all these side effects. They'll go cut out their carbohydrates. They'll go, do steroids, or I don't even know what guys are doing these days. It's just nonsense. Instead of actually putting in the work. Right? Like you can't cut around it, right? Like you take a shortcut, it bites you in the butt every single time. Every single time. You cut your carbs, what happens? You lose a bunch of weight and then you just regain it back and then some. You can't take a shortcut. Even when life throws you challenges, right? You can't take a shortcut on that challenge. You got to start being like thankful for honestly these adversities and these challenges. They're stepping stones to success. Every failure is a stepping stone to success. Every challenge is a stepping stone to success. New levels equal new devils. Sometimes when, life throws you a fight that you didn't expect to come in, aka curveball, right? Instead of just like, putting up your hands and retreating, it's like, dude, fight back. Like, just literally start affirming to yourself, like, I got this. I got this. I got this. Move towards the fight. It's always going to be there. So you can continue to do things your own way and take shortcuts here and there and avoid it. Guess what? That's not going to remove the situation. That challenge is still going to be there at the end of the day. So just move towards it immediately. That's how you overcome it faster. Third, last tip, all about your mindset. Focus on the micro wins. So, with this guy telling me like, hey, sometimes with training, especially going on these long runs and rucks and everything like that, it wasn't let's focus on the finish line. It's, hey, let's focus on like 10 feet ahead of us. And then another 10 feet. And then another 10 feet. Right? So it's like you always focus on, and I tell this to our coaching members all the time, 1% better mentality. Don't try to be 30% better the next day. Don't try to lose 20 pounds your first week. Don't try to, be that guy that just like, oh man, like if I don't get in the best shape of my life in the next like 72 hours, like I'm quitting. I'm going back to my old ways. Like, no. Like set realistic expectations, but at the same time, don't focus so much on the goal. It's important to have goals. You want to have goals, right? But what I'm saying is when life throws you curveballs and throws you challenges, it's like, okay, hey, we're trying to lose 30 pounds. We're trying to get off our blood pressure medications. And, oh, okay, hey, I just got invited to my buddy's place, and I know they're going to be watching the game. There's going to be nothing but like, barbecue wings there, chips, and everybody's going to be drinking beer. It's like, okay, hey, let's take our, focus off of that goal at the very end, and let's focus on just a small little micro goal. How do we go there and still track our food? That way we're staying within a healthy calorie deficit and eating plenty of protein, and we can still have the wings, still have the beer, still have the burgers. It's like, okay, maybe we got a plan for this. Since there's some time, there's like another 2 days in advance, let's focus on a protein sparing strategy, right? Let's focus on this approach also on that day. We can do this on the following day to offset those calories. That way, hey, we can give ourselves wiggle room. We can have the wings. We can have the burgers. We can have the beer. Smash. Guess what? That's a small little micro win, right? And now when you're able to complete that obstacle, now it makes things better because now new level, new devil. Fast forward, right? And let's just say, I don't know, you're traveling and you step off the bus wrong way and you twist your ankle and you sprain it. Now you can't make it to the gym. Well, guess what? You can focus now instead of the big goal at the end of the task. Now it's like, okay, hey, what can I do instead? What can I focus on that's still going to help me progress and be better and help me still accomplish my goal? But maybe I can't go to the gym. Maybe I can't get my steps in. So maybe I can, focus a little bit more on the mindset, focus a little bit more on the nutrition, focus on some other areas that I haven't been focusing on, right? Because I've been so much dialed in to the training. These small little micro wins and micro focuses help you out so much because it constantly helps you move with progression, constantly. And it helps you stay focused. You're building confidence, you're building momentum from it, and you're acknowledging that. That's why it's, in fact, like of a lot of our members inside of our coaching program, they have what's called a daily wins report, where every single day they just share with everybody inside the community group 3 wins that they had throughout the course of the day. It could be fitness related or not, just 3 wins. And then they're setting the intentions for tomorrow. Not next week, not next month, not next year, tomorrow. What are 3 goals that they're going to set an intention for and accomplish for the next day? And I bet you anything, if you did that also, based on all the other tools, you will lose body fat. You will get in better shape. You would be so mentally stronger. I kid you not. Your life can change dramatically. Just by, once again, moving your body, being more mentally fit. And if you need any help when it comes to actually losing fat and keeping off, because maybe you're sick of dieting, you don't know what you should be doing with your workouts and your body type and your busy schedule, or maybe you just want some like one-on-one guidance. Well, if you click on the link down below, if you're watching this on YouTube, there's 2 different free resource links. The first one is a free 90-day fat loss plan. Goes over literally a step-by-step blueprint. How to lose fat without dieting, without cardio. It's got workouts, it's got nutrition plans. Go check it out. The second link is actually to schedule a free strategy call. So if let's say you want to talk to me or somebody from my team personally, just going over your workouts, your nutrition plans, everything like that, what you're doing on a day-to-day basis to get to your goals, but maybe you're kind of stuck and you need some help, schedule a strategy call. Talk with somebody from our team and we'll give you some tips. We'll give you some guidance to help you out. I really hope that you guys got some value from today's episode. If you did, definitely give this video a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below letting me know your biggest takeaway. And subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. As always, guys, this has been Joe Callari with Heartletics.com. And I'll talk to you in the next episode. Peace out, Girl Scouts.